Hey everyone, welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Popple, along with my co-host, William McClelland. How you doing today, Will?
All's good. Everything's good. What's happening, man?
Oh, not too much today. We have a great guest coming on. There's Julissa Bruzon. She is from Miami, Florida, born and raised. She has a family immigrant story. That's a big part of what fuels her chase for opportunities and thinking big. She stumbled into real estate and now has experience in construction. And at the time, it was she was started off going to school for marketing and switched over to in real estate after falling in love on the business side. And so, without further ado, let's bring on Julissa.
Hey guys.
Hey, what up?
How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You ready to do this thing?
Let's do this.
Cool.
So, man, tell us from the beginning. You know, you're born and raised in Miami. What was childhood like growing up with an immigrant family that just moved to the area?
I want to say it's unique, but I think it's the majority of the stories for first generation children. You know, I grew up with parents that reminded me constantly of the freedom and the opportunities I had in the US. So for context, my family from Cuba, where they couldn't practice very basic liberties. They couldn't, do their own business. Their career choices were limited and they were restricted. And so when coming here, they made sure that I always grew up with that in mind, that I am lucky, I am blessed to have what I have, and I should be using it to my full ability.
Oh, that's awesome. So obviously that business is instilled directly in from your parents, but talk a little bit about family and business and, what kind of things led you to where you're at now?
So I think small seeds were planted throughout my childhood. My mom got me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was like 11. And
Awesome.
Obviously I didn't care for it. I was like, okay, weird book, but okay. And I never even actually got around to it at all until I was maybe 19. They didn't force me to go into business or were trying to go into business, but they did want me to kind of take on a mindset from a young age that they wished they would have gotten at a young age. So that then when I came of age, that I can make my own choices and kind of pick my career and where I wanted life to go, that I may have the resources and the right mindset to do so.
That's pretty cool. So your parents got you Rich Dad Poor Dad early on. I think that's pretty cool. So they obviously wanted you to kind of have that mindset like you're talking about. So discovering real estate by accident, which I know sometimes you mention on your Instagram and things like that. Oh, we've got to know that backstory. So let's get in on that for all the listeners.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very Gen Z story.
Love it.
My first job out of high school was actually being a substitute teacher, and I really enjoyed that environment, working with kids and whatnot. But I am also an only child, and my parents never put this pressure on me, but it's something I put on myself. I'm like, hey, you know what? When my parents get old, no one is going to be able to take care of them except me. So I felt this sense of urgency of like, hey, I need to get my act together. We need to do something that's really going to push the ball forward. And so, again, very Gen Z behavior. I was on Instagram kind of like, oh, business ideas. I don't know what year this was, maybe like 2022 or something. And, it started feeding it and feeding back to me all these business stuff. And to the point that it advertised a free real estate course. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's free. What do I have to lose? Obviously, there's always like an upsale. But it was what got my foot in the door to even explore real estate specifically, because I wasn't looking for real estate, but rather just, hey, business, how can I make it out the hood type thing.
Mm-hmm. Was that a Grant Cardone course, or what was the real estate course that you caught your eye?
It was called Multifamily Mindset.
Okay, awesome. And so, what was the moment early on when you realized this is what you wanted to do long term?
So this mentorship that I had joined, it had this mindset module. And the whole point of it was to kind of think bigger. And I think just the mainstream idea growing up, just the people around you, and even cultural wise, it's go to school, get a good degree, and then hope that it could do a lot of money. And then hopefully, if you're really good at your job, you can, become partner or just scale up to then actually be able to make more money.
Mhm.
And I think this module in the course helped me kind of reframe to wait, I don't have to do that. I don't have to wait. I don't have to try to prove myself to somebody else, but rather use all my grit and my work ethic towards something that I want. And like it's okay to dream a little bigger.
No, that's good. And so with that multifamily mindset and the mindset course specifically, I know you kind of, and we might be fast forwarding a little bit too much, but you like jumped in understanding really well how to allocate and best use other people's talents and partners who, might have had a couple more years of experience and things like that. So talk a little bit to the listeners about partners and partnerships and how that's allowed you to excel so quickly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The people you partner with are everything because the way they think will be contagious. The way that they work will be contagious. I was fortunate enough to find very like-minded individuals that we aligned in the sense of faith and values and whatnot. So it was a good click. And so they were more experienced in construction. And mind you, at the time in school, I was studying marketing. So I presented myself as, okay, hey, I don't know anything about construction, but I can help you create a website, email marketing, and which I did. But the more I got involved in the business, I'm like, hey, I actually kind of like the operations side of things, right?
Cool.
And even then, I always kept a little bit of marketing, but more for branding purposes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because we use completely private capital to fund our deals. We don't use like a conventional construction loan.
Sure.
How did you guys get your private capital? Was that something your partners already had in place, or is that like more something you acquired through further networking?
So to give you an idea, mind you, the multifamily mindset. So the course was for buying multifamily, and for multifamily, you need I would say a little bit more years to make it happen, and a lot of private equity coming in, raising private capital. And I actually met my partners through the student network the mentorship had, and once I kind of figured out what were all the roles and all the key players to be able to buy a multifamily, I felt that capital raising, investor relations was something that spoke to me just because it hit a little bit closer to the marketing zone. And I like people. I feed off of like people's energy and I'm like, okay, let's just do something close to my personality. So now shifting into construction, I'm like, hey, I don't have to veer off too bad and just kind of bring in what I've already been learning and working on. I'm a strong believer in pick one thing, get really, really good at it, that you become the expert in the field. And if, someone ever comes, has an idea that, like, for example, let's say capital raising, I want to be the best capital raiser that there could be. So if anyone ever thinks, oh man, I need money for this project, I would be the person to come to mind.
I think I might know someone that has a lot of projects up and coming. Sam and I, we've got a number of lots, and we're always looking to raise capital. So I think that's pretty cool. And for people who are getting started that have a lot of experience, a lot of times they don't have a lot of financial background and understanding. And this is where I feel like there's a bad terminology of loan sharks, hard money. Like you can use those to your advantage, but sometimes people are buying properties that they feel like, oh, this is a great deal, but they don't really understand what points are up front. They don't really understand what the carrying costs are. And so next thing you know, it's like, oh, I had this great deal. I had these great lending terms, but I'm upside down and I lost 50 grand instead of making that 50 grand. Right. So I think that's pretty cool. So I think for the listeners, we need to let them understand how awesome your business model is by operating over 2,000 miles away. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, you also have to realize, I think I'm in a very opportune market myself. And
Okay.
I've had this conversation with my partners a million times of, hey, should I just move to Idaho? But when you think about it, Miami itself is like a capital central of the US. There's so much money here, there's so much luxury. And
And a lot of money migrating there as well.
yes,
You know, like
yes,
from other big cities. You know, it's
California,
like New York of the South.
yeah, California and New York are moving in like crazy, and it's not just like your average middle class. It's super high class, bringing in more capital, and it's slowly pushing away lower income. But that's a whole other conversation. But the point is, there is opportunity here while living in Miami, because even though our properties are not in Miami and investors don't have the property in their backyard, they understand, they have the savviness as investors to understand diversification, and that, not have all your eggs in one basket. So being in Miami has actually, I think, given me more leverage for the business, having more capital accessible to me.
So what you're saying is that you use Miami as a backyard for fundraising, and then plant it in your deals over in Idaho.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so why
So for
Idaho?
the-
How did your team select
I think
that market?
I
for
think
new
even
construction?
before that, for the listeners to understand, she's operating her business and building new construction properties in Idaho, but lives and grew up, like we've heard her story already, in Miami. And just like she mentioned, she's using where she lives, that engulfed amount of high net worth individuals that are moving in as a vessel. And the vessel is saying, hey, there's a lot of capital, there's a lot of areas for capital raising here. So on your end, you're really focused on operations and raising capital, and you're allowing the experts in construction to do what they're doing. And you were able to merge these and make that happen 2,000 miles away, which I love.
I can already see Will's getting super excited to have a conversation once we got offline, because we're going straight to it. All right, so let's. How are you going to fund our deals?
Yeah, exactly.
So we got a better market than Idaho, I can tell you that.
Much, yeah.
So,
But back to Sam's question: why Idaho?
right.
Yeah. So I mean, there is a number of factors, and again, I want to say that I'm just beyond blessed. It was a lot of market timing and opportunity. One, my partners played a huge factor. They are boots on the ground. They live there. They're raising their kids there. And then on top of that, we have huge technology companies, Meta and Micron, moving into Boise and nearby, bringing in 17,000 jobs at a time. And that's just including like on the construction side of things. And then for their actual facilities, it's over 2,000 new employees that are migrating from all over the states to come work in these firms. And so market opportunity, we have people move in, and we also have a huge migration from California, specifically Los Angeles, San Diego, and Sacramento, in that specific order. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, if it's maybe the lifestyle. Idaho's very chill. You can experience all four seasons, but we're seeing that pattern all year round of that large migration. So we saw high demand, and thankfully my partners had the experience for construction. So it was like a no-brainer to go into it.
Oh, that's incredible. That's awesome. So how did you meet people from Idaho? Let's start there.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the mentorship program.
Okay, cool.
There was a student network group, and you can kind of socialize with everybody. You can post about yourself. Oh, hey, I'm looking for partners. I'm looking for this, some extra capital. And I happened to bump into who today are my partners, and we jumped on a call. Hey, these are my skill sets. These are my skill sets. And we're like, we can make this happen. We can make this work. We were filling in each other's gaps, and then it turned into something greater and an even stronger partnership.
Yeah, I love that. So like I said, so you guys just met through the group. Y'all was there like an in-person event that y'all met at all, or was it all just strictly through that message board within the program?
No, so it was insane. Like looking back at our story and how we first formed, it even sounds a little sketchy, because we initially, mind you, they're in Idaho, I'm in Miami, but we set up Zoom calls. It wasn't an in-person meeting. And our first call was Zoom. And And then we were just consistent with our calls before we agreed, hey, we're going to have a partnership. Then, of course, all contracts and stuff came in place. But we actually had our first deal going on before I even got to meet them for the first time. I flew out maybe like a month
crazy.
after sealing the deal. And, you know, obviously.
Did you put money in the deal?
I did.
Okay. I mean, because that makes a difference in the trust. You know, because, I mean, no money, it's like, yeah, I'd roll the dice too. But, man, money in the deal without a face-to-face. But
yeah, that's tough.
No, and I'm like, I don't advise it necessarily. I don't know if it was one of those like naive young people thing, or if I was like my risk tolerance is super high, but it worked out well for me, so I can't even complain.
It's a great story when it's a good one. You know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but, no,
so
that's awesome.
How exactly are you raising this money and raising the capital?
Sorry,
right into the meat of it.
Yes.
Right.
No, it's matter of fact.
And you got the phone numbers. No, I'm just joking.
I mean, it's really a matter of putting yourself out there. I am very intentional with putting myself in high network rooms with people that I know are serious. And I take a very educational approach on investing. I think it is foundational to building trust. And mind you, money is not easy to come by. I think it's simple, but it's not easy. And so for someone to put that in your hands takes a lot of trust. And I think I make it a priority to educate as much as possible. I have my email marketing when I meet with investors before even pitching anything to them. I'm like, hey, what do you want to know? Let's look at, don't have any expectations. This meeting is purposely just for learning. Ask away, I'll give you everything, and then you go home, you sleep on it, and then we can talk. So very no pressure, very investor focused type of approach.
Okay, so what exactly does that mean? It's pretty vague. So are you putting together pitch decks? Are you're going to these rooms? How are you getting into these rooms? What type of networking events are you doing? Are you prepped with plans, layouts? Do you have full interior design? Do you have all your budget breakdowns? Do you have 12 3-inch binders that you bring in around?
Okay.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'll give you all the secrets. So I will always have data in my back pocket. I will always have my pitch deck at hand that I can send to someone. But I like to have a very natural, casual approach. And I don't know if this might even sound like a little evil, but mind you, I'm very intentional where I step into. Okay.
I love it.
And then I will always start very casual. I'll, hey, I noticed, your drink is kind of colorful. Like, what is that? Type thing. Just something to break the ice, get the shoulders down. I'm not trying to sell you anything. And actually, I view raising capital as a sales game. I think if you understand sales,
I think it's the best sale ever. You don't even have anything that they're buying. They're just giving you money.
And they're genuinely going to win. But you have to understand human nature a little bit. And no one likes to be sold to. So my approach is don't sell. Just add value. Add value, add value, add value. And that's kind of what you do. And I like to have like a set of questions in my back pocket typically, and not be basic. There's this lady, I forgot her name. I can send you guys like a few YouTube videos from her. And she's a body language expert. And her whole goal, her whole mission is to improve human communication and help people make actual connections that stand out and that make impact. So I go ahead and I apply that when I go raise capital, and I try to not be very basic with conversation like, oh, what do you do? Because that's what everybody asks, right? So you want to say a line that makes you stand out, that makes someone remember, hey, you're that person, right? So even just a silly one, if someone asks like, hey, how are you? Have a little like sass with it, and 8 out of 10 today. It's just something different will make people remember you. And then from there, so okay, one thing I do have to thank college for. I took on marketing as my major, and then I'm like, I'm gonna do a minor in sales. Like, what the heck? And that changed everything for me. And my sales professor always told me, never sell on the first conversation. The first conversation, you gather information. And then if you see wiggle room for your product or service, that's when you're like, hey, we should have a second call. I maybe just be able to help you type thing. And I've taken that approach and it's been super effective because people feel like now they know you. Oh, and that's another thing. You want to show your face on social media a lot. So I actually stopped giving people my phone number and exchanging that way. I kind of used to, oh, here's my number, and I would take a picture with them so they would remember my face. But I have shifted and found it to be more effective to exchange social media and then constantly have my face out there, I think on average, someone needs to see your face 7 times to feel like they know you and that they are your friend. So the more intentional you are with showing your face or like, hey, I thought of you, everything good? How's your kids? Hey, how's your dog? How'd it go with that vet visit? Try to keep details on people that it would, leave an emotional impact on them. They will remember you more likely on how you made them feel rather than what you pitched to them. So it might be like super cliche and may even sound kind of vague, but that's where I've seen all the fruit of my investors come in.
Gotcha. Now let's pretend now you've passed that, they're qualified. What's the kind of deal that you offer them to invest in your new construction?
Okay, so I also try to fish out kind of how much money they have before I bring in the pitch.
Okay.
From there, again, oh my gosh, all my secrets are out here now.
Right.
If I know that they are a more savvy investor, I will try to not lowball at all. So typically our minimum is $10,000 to enter. Okay. But if you're a larger fish, I'll be like $100,000, right? Like that is the minimum. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of get to know people, and that's also the importance of the first conversation, because you get to pick up on their personality and notice what is their communication style, and then from there you can use it to your advantage in your presentation. There's some people that are more emotionally driven. So you'd be like, oh my gosh, I have this super exciting project. Like, look, it's going to happen. And look at these timelines. And then there's someone who's very analytical. So then I know to come in with spreadsheets. But to answer,
that's smart.
Yeah. So but you got to read the person. You got to know them before you introduce something to them.
100%.
That's leverage, right? So, but yeah, typically our returns are anywhere from 10 to 12%. And the beautiful thing about private money is that it's negotiable, right? Like if you use a hard money lender or something like that, they'll have their fixed rate, they'll have their points. But when you're raising privately, there's wiggle room, and you can kind of negotiate. Be like, okay, fine, we'll pay you out on the 6th month, or we'll do it quarterly, or at the end of the year, and you kind of play around with the numbers. So I wish I could tell you, hey, we have this one solid thing, but we're looking at 10 to 12% short term, 6 to 12 months.
Okay. How often are you in Idaho?
I try to go at least once a month.
Once a month? Okay, that's a lot more than I thought. Okay, and then how often are you starting new projects? I know you said you have a couple right now, but like, what's your rollout? How many lots do you have? What's the pipeline? Or are you letting your partners do that and you're just focusing on raising capital and operations?
Yeah, so here's my mindset towards that. Everyone has their specialty, and everyone should kind of almost stay in their lane in the most respectful manner. There's open communication. You kind of, hey, look, we have this going on, we have that going on. But I could, like, if the construction project was in my hands and I had to manage the schedules and whatnot, that would be a disaster. So that's where I come in, and I trust my partners to do their part, and then they'll come, hey, they'll show me the schedule of real estate, the scope of real estate, and how much capital we need. And then I'll go be, okay, we need this much by this time. I'll go out and do my job, do my role within the company, and seal the deal. But to answer your question, we have been doing one build at a time. Mind you, we are a newer company. We only have like 1 year in business. So I think that even the first few deals were such a learning curve. We're on our 7th build now, which is statistically pretty good for 1 year. But it looks like we're doing one at a time.
No, that's amazing. So how many investors are you having per deal?
Okay, I love this question because if you do them right the first time, if you play your cards right the first time, they come back.
Mhm.
On our last house, we had $100,000 investor, and her profits, she just rolled it back in. Her principal and her profit, she's like, "Oh, that's a great return. Roll it back in," because we delivered the first time. So now we're able to do that. So our list of our investors, our Rolodex, we have a good 15.
Nice. Now, are you trying to be like a private lender or someone that's raising capital for other projects, or this is just your Rolodex for you guys?
Yeah. So my focus is what I have going on already with
Sure. I mean, it's busy.
and this I have ownership with. I don't want to say I'm closed off to other deals. Obviously, if there's a really good
Everything can be negotiated with some points, right?
there we go. But I have ownership over this, and I think there's a lot of weight to having ownership and direct control over your business. And if something goes wrong, it's my business, and I get to pick up the slack, right? And I still consider myself like a fetus in the space, and I have so much to learn, but I get to do it within my company. And then if I'm this crazy like shark-like capital raiser, okay, awesome. Now I can more confidently offer myself for $1 billion deals, right? So does that answer your question?
Yeah. Your goal is to be the shark capital raiser.
Yeah, that's what answered my question there. I love it.
Right. So, all right, no, we got that. Have there been any logistical challenges for you, or is it all been pretty smooth because your team is the one who manages the on the ground activities?
Honestly, I can't complain. There hasn't been many challenges at all. If anything, the challenge is more like, oh, I need to fly out to Idaho again to get more content, for example, to make sure, update my investors like, hey, look, it's happening. We're in this phase of the build. I've had to learn a lot, right? Because I can talk money and I can talk numbers and I can build relationships with people, but there's a level of understanding that I should have towards construction to be able to, formally and accurately update my investors. So
Sure.
It's been a learning curve and had to make that extra effort, but logistically, it's been really, really smooth.
Now, do you guys build to sell, or are you guys building to rent since you're having such a large influx of people?
Build to sell.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. And then are you guys raising everything? So to buy the land and do the construction, like doing it all with private money, or is there a part of that you still use bank financing for?
Yeah, so that's our structure now. Our first few builds, it was trial and error. And we did use a little bit of private capital, and then we would use a hard money lender. We're like, oh my gosh, all these points. So it was so funny that William mentioned that in the beginning of this conversation, because it's like, it's so true. Early newer investors, you go into something, oh, this is going to be great. But I guess you don't really know all the
nuances.
The nuances of things. But after some learning and figuring it out, and then actually building credibility, for Treasure Valley Capital, our company, we've been able to fund our deals through private money that we have raised.
Nice. Do you have any type of specific systems or product integration or any type of overlays that you're using between you, your team, your investors, everyone that's in-house? I guess that would be you and your partners, and everyone that's outsourced, like subcontractors. Do you have a one-stop shop? Do you use certain types of systems for that, or do you allow them to run the construction and you run the Rolodex and the numbers?
Right. So going back to that division conversation, like they do their thing and I do mine.
But you guys don't have anything that like you just pick up the phone and call them to say like, hey, have you poured the foundation? Or do you have something that's online that boom, when everything's happening, when bills are going, things like that?
Spreadsheets. Yes,
spreadsheets.
Yeah. Very, very old school. But if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was more of a selfish question. If you're using like Asana, or if you're using other type of project management tool, and then how you're doing that, the way you're sharing that, if you if you're updating certain types of Gantt charts that are tracking project success, or the opposite sometimes when there's project setbacks and things like that. So that's pretty cool.
What's something you wish you would have known before jumping in the new construction field? Since you said those first couple were, you learned those were some learning in those ones.
I think looking for someone that's already been through what I was trying to get into. I wish I would have made the effort to find someone that has the same business model. Hey, what do you wish you would have done differently? What do you do now? So I can start from there. I think we had that mindset of we just got to do it, which is a good mindset. And it did lead us to where we are today, but it could have saved us, money, first of all, and some step backs.
But there's still time to do that, because like you said, if you want to be the shark doing the $1 million deals, there's already someone doing that. So,
Correct, which is what I am doing now. I have my mentors, but I guess to the more specific, like when we started, what you would have done differently.
Right. Yeah, no. I think that's awesome. So with that, and kind of just touching back on that, like long-term goals and things that you're doing, where do you see this going? Where do you want it to go?
Yeah. So mind you, we are building in the Treasure Valley area of Boise, and the company is called Treasure Valley Capital. So the vision here is big. We want to be the builders of the Treasure Valley.
Awesome.
That is us. We want to be recognized, and who knows, maybe down the line, if there's somebody who wants a custom build, maybe we'd be open to it. But again, we really believe in ownership and having control for it ourselves.
Stay away from custom builds. Talking from experience.
Okay. Noted.
If you're rolling with specs and you're using private money, let it rip.
Yeah. And it's worked out for us, so I can't keep moving from that. And hopefully in the next 2-3 years, we're building at least 20 units multifamily, right? So we do to scale.
Nice. Is there a goal to eventually switch it to build to rent? Is that you're going to do that possibly when you switch over to the multifamily, or is that still going to be building to sell?
I want to tell you that we would build to rent for the cash flow, but I think it would just be circumstantial. What are our plans? Have our dreams shifted when we get there? How much capital do we have? And then we'd probably brainstorm. In that sense, I like to think far ahead and have plans, a vision, but life can change overnight. Sure. So, I will always be like, hey, when we get there, we will know what to do. We will.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I think you have a lot to give, and also a lot of runway ahead. What type of legacy are you trying to leave?
I think I want to be remembered as just someone who didn't limit herself.
Awesome.
I don't care too much for, look at the portfolio she built or how much money she made, but more like the mindset behind it. And, hopefully when the day comes that I have kids, I could teach that to them.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I grew up with a lot of anxiety. I was the anxious kid. I had, what do you call these, like heart monitors, because I had like these random, I'm like, Mom, I don't know what's going on. And I went to the doctor in 2 instances, and they put heart monitors, one for 1 day and another one for 5. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me until like, oh, no, duh, it's anxiety. So if there's something I'm proud of, it's overcoming that all through mindset. So if someone could remember me, I want them to remember me as someone who can overcome and, not let circumstances shape them in a negative way.
I can tell you what really helps my anxiety is having a really great looking portfolio. So
it does help.
The higher the portfolio looks, the higher those numbers look, the less anxious I feel.
So. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. I think you're really well spoken, and you know a lot of like industry terms and kind of how to navigate things. I think something interesting for the listeners, and we're going to start and go way back from the beginning of the episode. You talked about joining one of these groups. I believe you said it was multifamily mindset. Have you done any more of these? How did that, obviously that helped you get to where you were. And how did that mindset shift allow you to be more open to new networking opportunities? What do those networking opportunities look like? Are you continuing more courses, or what's allowing you to have such, scalable success? Because I'm sure if you were in that mindset group and it was free, there's probably hundreds of other people that were also in it, but they're for sure, I know they're not having the same results. There might be, the onesie twosies like you that are really hitting the ground running. So I guess
probably probably literally one or two, like
yeah,
out of a free group. Yeah, one or two.
So like an all-encompassing question, it would be like, what sets you apart and what's allowed you to have this growth, and then what's going to continue that? And if I'm a newbie, what do I do?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with this. When you stop learning, you stop growing. You have to be humble enough to always realize that there is more to learn, more to learn. There's always something life or another person or another book or another course can teach you. And I think that's where the sweet spot is, and in knowing that you don't know it all, in exploring and asking questions. And that has been the most useful thing for me, asking questions. And we live in a day and time where we are without excuse because we have YouTube University, we have ChatGPT. Like every answer to every question is in the palm of our hands, right? So no one is without excuse. But it does go back to the mindset thing, William, that you were saying. You kind of have to have the right mindset to do that, because how many people are super knowledgeable? Like, have you ever met anyone that just knows a lot, but they won't put it into practice? And that happens a lot, unfortunately. And I think, yes, always do a course, get your next book, and keep that momentum. What I do is I have a lineup. I have in my notes app all the books I want to read, so that when I'm done with one, I can go to the next one, and I don't lose that pattern of, hey, I need to learn. Hey, I need to learn. And I remember my school days where everything was to the T. There was the schedule for lunch, and then a break, and then PE, and then history class. And I think it's good to have that structure and that backup plan always for the sake of momentum. Just the laws of physics, like
on that. On that book list, you got me curious. What do you think's the best one that probably helped your mindset, and then the best one that helped you in just straight up real estate or business?
Okay. Ooh, that's a hard one.
You can't say Rich Dad Poor Dad, because you already mentioned that.
I like the book Limitless, Jim Quick.
Mm-hmm.
That one, it will make you stop feeling sorry for yourself, because the author has a really insane story and how he grew up and he overcame it. So it humbles you. That's a good one. And then if you have a more scientific mind and you like answers for everything, I recommend Mindset, Carol Dweck, because she will do the research side of things and she will give you real life examples. If you're the type of person that maybe you don't like motivation, but you like your facts, that's a good book to refer to.
Cool. No, I love it. If have you continued more any type of mindset courses, or was that really the one and you just kickstarted and that let you just jump to where you are now?
Yeah, so I'll clarify, just in case. So the multifamily mindset wasn't a free course. They had a free workshop type thing, in which then they
got it,
allowed you to take on to that course. And it wasn't about mindset necessarily, but it was a module for it. And mind you, that course got my foot in the door, and then everything else just kind of started falling into place. And then it was really up to me to be intentional with, okay, I'm going to keep on learning and I'm going to keep on growing. Actually, tomorrow I have a meeting with a mindset coach. Cool. And so I'm going to see if that's the right move for me next. But again,
that'd be like a personal coach.
Yes, personal coach. But again, like I encourage anyone that's listening, don't think, oh, you need to pay $10,000 for that mentorship for your mindset. Like get your $12 book on eBay or on Amazon. Listen to an audiobook. Go on YouTube. Like if you need some motivation, like it's going to be there. If you need some mindset, some paradigm shifts, like it's going to be there. The resources very available to you. So don't limit yourself to, oh, I can't afford a mindset coach, or I can't afford this, or I can't afford a brand new course. Like everything you need, you can have.
That's awesome. So with that, everything that you need, you can have. If someone wanted to do what you do, where would you tell them to start?
YouTube.
Okay, I love it. I agree. YouTube's got everything. And how, outside of just YouTube, what would they search? What's going to be something that's going to get them rocketing and raising private capital and making things happen?
You know what? I've noticed the effect it takes on when you surround yourself with people that are where you want to be. And I think it's better than a book, because I think naturally, because of human behavior and the way we're just designed to function, you feed off on people's energy, their attitudes, their vocabulary, and they will directly and indirectly mold you in a way that a book won't, in a way that a YouTube video won't. If you surround yourself enough with them, mind you, it has to be someone that has a proven track record, credibility, and is where you want to go.
Right.
It will stick. It will stick. And, just try to make yourself valuable as well, because people of high value, they're not just going to let anyone in their presence and take their time. So do position yourself, one, humbly, with admiration, and understand a little bit of human nature, of human psychology.
That's great advice. And I'm going to give you further compliments, because I definitely think you picked up a high value skill that can contribute to pretty much any real estate group you're part of, because fundraising is a major part of it. They say you don't, you need the deals, the money, but you don't have to have both. But the money is real important. You can't close a deal without money. So I love how you mastered that skill, in the backyard of Miami, and reallocated that capital to a Midwest state, and we have steady projects going. I think that's just awesome. Where can people learn more about you, get in touch with you, follow you on your socials, and so that way maybe they can invest in some of your deals, or just watch you in action?
Yeah, honestly, the best is Instagram. That is my baby. That is what I try to take care of and put a lot of educational content. And I always make myself pretty open in like the DMs. If you have any questions, if you're curious about a deal, what we have going on, I'm a pretty open book in that sense.
Cool. What's your Instagram handle for all the listeners listening?
It's just @_Julissa Bruzon.
Perfect. Any last thoughts? Thanks so much for being on. It's so fun.
No, thank you. I mean, if you guys have any last questions, fire away. But other than that, like I'm grateful to be here.
No, hey, I definitely want to talk to you following up on about some of the deals Will and I have going, and because we're looking to get some private funding, and I think you might be able to help us, and I definitely think we can work out something where it's in it for you as well. So I definitely like I said, if we'll talk to you after the show. But thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing everything with our listeners. I do want to re-highlight that you said you started in 2022. For anybody listening, 3 years is a short period of time, and that's, I think, a real big highlight to show how quickly you can have success in real estate. So kudos to you, on that, because I mean, you've already come so far in your journey, but your journey is still so early. So I can't wait to have you back in a follow-up episode, probably in a year from now, to check in and let all of our viewers know where you are and on the journey, and how everything's going.
Absolutely, I can't wait.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I was about to say that before we hopped off. I'm ready to have you back on for another episode for us to get all those details, get the breakdown, Let's hear those returns. Again, this year, they've already done 7 new builds. She started in 2022, only 3/4 of the way through 2025. If you guys need some inspiration, check out her Instagram, follow what's happening. Again, thanks so much for being on. Big shout out to Clean Eats, always allowing us to have these awesome interviews and just learn so much. Super thankful. If you guys haven't, click subscribe to our YouTube, please. But we're on anywhere where you can get your podcasts. Super excited. If you have any lots for sale, we are doing, knocking on wood, knocking some houses down to build new houses. We're in. So
currently have we closed on 2 lots 2 weeks ago. Have 2 more under contract.
Congrats.
So, yeah.
No, we have 4 under contract.
All right. Oh yeah.
Under contract.
I forgot about the one that hasn't closed. I quit counting that one.
Yeah. So we have 4 under contract.
Right.
So we'll be closing on another couple this next month, and then hopefully the next 2 the following. So we're buying lots. If you guys have some, if you're just have some questions on what to do with a lot of people need help on development costs and things, just ping us. We're more than happy to help. If you want to partner on a deal, you know where to find us.
Go to eliterealestatepodcast.com. Just fill out that little info at the bottom, and we'll get back to you very quickly to make sure that, like I said, we can help you on a deal or partner with us on a deal.
Yeah, and wait for the content that we're about to pump out. We got some really cool new builds coming up that I think you guys will like. They're gonna be really high quality, 9-foot ceilings, really grand entries. You guys are gonna like it. So stay tuned, and thanks so much for being on with us today.
Yep, can't wait to talk to you again.
Yeah.
All right, rooting for you guys.
All right.
Same to you.
Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next week on the Elite Real Estate Podcast.
See ya.